Hello everyone, welcome to Stoic Dialogue, ancient philosophy for the modern mind, where we transform philosophy into deep dialogues that can change your life. Today we're diving into an idea from Stoicism that might just be the key to navigating our crazy, chaotic world, self-sufficiency of the soul.
You know, it's funny how an idea from ancient times can feel so incredibly relevant today.
Right.
It's like the Stoics knew we'd be facing a world of constant distractions and pressures.
Right. It's almost as if they could see us refreshing our feeds 100 times a day.
Yeah.
Desperately seeking validation from, well, pretty much anyone with a Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
So imagine this, what if true peace, the unshakable kind, comes not from chasing external stuff, but from a wellspring within ourselves. That's the heart of what we're exploring today.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming totally independent in a practical sense, you know, living off the grid or anything.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating an inner resilience, a strength that allows us to engage with the world from a place of calm and clarity.
Okay, so maybe self-sufficiency isn't the catchiest term for this idea.
Right.
You're saying it's more about recognizing we already have what we need for a good life.
Yeah.
It's just tucked away inside us.
Exactly. It's about tapping into that fountain of good within, as Marcus Aurelius put it.
Okay.
You know, the quote, "Look within. Within you is the fountain of good, a fountain that can always flow if you choose to seek it."
Yes.
It's like he's giving us directions to this incredible inner resource.
I love that quote. For me, that quote is like a mental reset button. You're going about your day, caught up in all the little anxieties.
Yeah.
And then you remember, wait, there's a fountain of good inside me. I need to find that.
Yeah.
What comes to mind for you when you hear that quote?
That's a great question to ask yourself, actually.
Okay.
It invites us to look inward and examine what truly sustains us. For me, it highlights the power of our minds to shape our experience. It's a reminder that we have more control than we often realize.
So much more, right? It's not about ignoring the external world, though, right? It's not like we're saying, just pretend everything is fine when things are rough.
Yeah, it's not about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that even in the midst of difficulty, there's a part of us that remains untouched.
Yes.
It's about accessing that inner strength to navigate the ups and downs with more grace and wisdom. And one of the ways the Stoics suggested we do this is through a specific type of meditation.
Okay, see, now you've got me intrigued.
Okay.
I dabble in mindfulness,
Okay.
but this Stoic meditation, as you called it, feels different. What's the distinction?
You're right to sense a difference.
Okay.
It's less about emptying your mind and more about intentional self-reflection. Think of it as quality time with yourself, a chance to step back from the daily whirlwind and really check in.
So it's not about sitting on a mountaintop chanting Om.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You can practice Stoic meditation anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
Find a quiet space, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Right.
Close your eyes and simply observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Notice what's arising within you.
That sounds deceptively simple. Like anyone can close their eyes for 5 minutes.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than that, right?
Yes.
What kind of intentional reflection are we talking about here?
Right. There's a subtle art to it.
Okay.
It's not just zoning out. It's
Uh-huh.
about using that quiet time to reflect on your day. Did I live up to my values? What were my reactions to the challenges I faced? What can I learn from my experiences?
Okay.
It's about becoming your own coach and cheerleader in a way.
You know, it's interesting. We often seek external validation, looking for someone else to tell us we're doing okay. But this kind of meditation is almost like turning that search inward and becoming our own source of validation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we have the capacity to evaluate ourselves, learn from our experiences, and grow as individuals independent of external approval.
Yes.
That's a huge step towards true self-sufficiency.
It makes me think of social media, actually.
Okay.
I feel like we're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more, do more, be more. It's exhausting.
It's true. Social media can be a double-edged sword.
Right.
It can be a tool for connection and inspiration, but it can also feed our insecurities and make us crave external validation more than ever.
I know I'm not alone in this, but sometimes I get caught in that comparison trap, you know?
Right?
Like I'll post something I'm proud of,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't get a ton of likes, I actually start feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking for my sense of worth in those little hearts on a screen.
That's such a relatable experience.
Yeah, it's grating.
And it really highlights how social media can undermine our sense of self-sufficiency. If we're constantly seeking validation from others, we're giving away our power to determine our own worth.
So what's the solution? Do we all need to become digital hermits and ditch social media entirely?
Not necessarily. It's more about becoming aware of how we're using it and what needs we're trying to meet through it. Maybe try a social media detox for a day.
Okay.
See how it feels to disconnect from that external noise and reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself, who am I beyond my online persona? What truly brings me joy?
That's a powerful challenge. And it's not just about social media, right? It's about recognizing all the ways we seek validation and approval from the outside world rather than cultivating that sense of self-worth from within.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our focus from external validation to internal validation, from seeking approval to seeking self-acceptance.
Okay, I'm already feeling a shift in my perspective just from this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're peeling back layers of conditioning and rediscovering this inner strength that was there all along.
That's the beauty of Stoicism. It offers us a path to reconnect with our inner wisdom and power.
This has been incredible so far. We've talked about tapping into our fountain of good, the power of Stoic meditation, and the subtle ways social media can chip away at our self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? What are some other tools we can use to build that unshakable inner foundation?
That's a great question, and there are so many practical techniques we can explore.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into some specific tools and strategies for cultivating Stoic resilience in the face of life's inevitable challenges.
I'm ready for that.
All right.
We'll be back in a flash to continue our deep dive into the Stoic path to self-sufficiency.
Sounds good. So, you know how we were talking about social media and how it can sometimes make us feel like we need external validation? Well, the Stoics have a tool for that, and it's called reframing.
Reframing. Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me because it sounds like we're just putting a positive spin on things.
Okay.
Is this like toxic positivity with a toga?
Uh-huh. Not quite. It's more about consciously choosing how we perceive a situation. We can get swept up in the initial emotional reaction, or we can take a step back and look at it through a different lens.
Okay, I'm seeing a glimmer of what you mean. So let's say you're stuck in traffic. Instead of fuming about being late, you could reframe it as a chance to practice patience.
Perfect example. Or imagine you get passed over for a promotion. Instead of seeing it as a failure, you could reframe it as an opportunity to reassess your goals or develop new skills.
So it's not about pretending things are rosy when they're not. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers us.
Right, exactly. Reframing helps us reclaim our power. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we interpret it.
This is reminding me of that saying, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. The Stoics were really ahead of the curve on this whole mindset thing.
They were pioneers in understanding the power of our thoughts. And the more we practice reframing, the more natural it becomes. It's like training a muscle. With consistent effort, we can literally rewire our brains to respond to challenges with more resilience and resourcefulness.
Okay, I'm sold on reframing for everyday annoyances. But what about those curveballs life throws, the big, heavy stuff that can really knock you off balance? Can reframing really help with that?
That's where it becomes even more crucial. It's not about diminishing the pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about finding a perspective that allows us to move through it with more grace and strength. For instance, say you experience a major setback, like a job loss or a serious illness. Reframing doesn't mean denying the difficulty of the situation, but it allows you to look for the opportunities within the challenge. Maybe this difficult time is pushing you to reevaluate your priorities, discover hidden strengths, or even forge a new path that's more aligned with your true purpose.
That's a powerful way to look at it. So even in the midst of hardship, there's still a part of us that remains free to choose our perspective.
Exactly. That's the heart of self-sufficiency. It's recognizing that no matter what external circumstances we face, there's a part of us that remains untouched, a core of strength and wisdom that can guide us through the storm.
It makes me think of the quote, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." While that may not always be literally true, I think there's truth in the idea that we can emerge from difficult experiences with a greater sense of who we are and what we're capable of.
I agree. The Stoics understood that challenges, while unwanted, are inevitable. But they also saw the potential for growth and transformation within those challenges. It's about leaning into the discomfort rather than resisting it.
So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We shift to, what can I learn from this?
That's the shift. It's moving from a victim mindset to an empowered mindset, from feeling helpless to feeling agentic. It's about recognizing that even in the face of adversity, we have a choice.
This is seriously making me rethink my whole approach to challenges. I can see how powerful this shift in perspective can be.
It's a game changer. And the more we practice it, the more natural it becomes. We start to see challenges not as obstacles to be avoided, but as opportunities for growth and learning.
All this talk about reframing is making me think about those times when we get stuck in negative thought patterns, those mental loops that can really drag us down.
Yeah.
Did the Stoics have any advice for dealing with that kind of mental clutter?
They sure did. And this one might sound a little counterintuitive, but it's a powerful technique. They called it negative visualization.
Negative visualization. Wait, isn't the whole point of Stoicism to focus on the positive? Why would we intentionally think about negative things?
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But the idea isn't to dwell on the negative or to create anxiety.
Right.
It's actually about cultivating gratitude and appreciating what we have in the present moment.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. Tell me more about this negative visualization.
So it's quite simple. Take a moment to visualize the possibility of losing the things you value. Your health, your loved ones, your job, your home. Don't dwell on it. Just briefly contemplate the possibility of it not being there. By doing this, we realize how precious these things are and how fortunate we are to have them in our lives right now.
Oh, wow. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's like a mental reset.
Yeah.
A way to snap out of taking things for granted.
Exactly. It's a powerful antidote to complacency. And it also helps us prepare mentally and emotionally for the inevitable challenges that life throws our way. By contemplating the possibility of loss, we're less likely to be blindsided when something difficult does happen.
So, for example, if I'm stressing about a big presentation at work, I could take a moment to visualize what it would be like if it didn't go well.
Yeah.
Not to get myself all worked up, but to remind myself that even if things don't go perfectly, I'll be okay.
Exactly. It's about developing a sense of perspective and realizing that even if things don't go our way, we have the inner resources to cope and move forward.
It's like we're taking the power away from those what-if fears by facing them head-on.
You got it. And in doing so, we free ourselves from the anxiety that keeps us from fully embracing the present moment.
I'm loving these Stoic tools. Reframing negative visualization. It's like we're building a mental toolkit for navigating life's ups and downs.
It's a great way to think about it. And the beauty of these tools is that they're available to all of us. We don't need any special equipment or training. It's simply about making a conscious choice to shift our perspective, cultivate gratitude, and tap into our inner strength.
So self-sufficiency isn't a destination, it's a journey, right?
Right.
It's about continuously cultivating this inner resilience and wisdom.
That's the key. It's about embracing the process of becoming more self-aware, more resilient, and more connected to our inner wisdom. It's about showing up for ourselves each day and making a commitment to our own growth.
I love that. It's not about striving for perfection, but about embracing the journey.
And that journey is where the real magic happens. It's where we discover our true strength, our resilience, and our capacity to create a life of meaning and purpose, no matter what challenges we face along the way.
It's amazing how these Stoic ideas developed centuries ago
I know.
still hold so much weight today.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if human nature really changes all that much.
It really is remarkable, isn't it? It speaks to the enduring power of these philosophies. The Stoics tapped into something fundamental about the human experience, the challenges we face, and our innate desire for inner peace.
It strikes me that a lot of what we've been talking about today aligns with what modern psychology calls emotional regulation.
Oh, interesting.
The idea that we can learn to manage our emotions and reactions rather than being controlled by them.
That's a great observation. There's definitely a convergence between ancient wisdom and modern science. The Stoics, without all the brain scans and research studies, seem to intuitively grasp the power of the mind to shape our experiences. They recognize that we're not simply at the mercy of our emotions. We have the ability to choose our responses.
And that's such an empowering message. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending we don't feel them.
Right.
It's about learning to observe them, understand them, and choose how we want to respond to them.
Precisely. It's about developing a sense of spaciousness within ourselves, so we're not immediately hijacked by our emotions. That space allows us to make conscious choices rather than reacting impulsively.
It's like we're taking back the reins of our mental and emotional chariot.
I love that analogy. We're not just passengers along for a wild ride. We're the charioteers guiding our thoughts and emotions toward a destination of our choosing.
As we're wrapping up this deep dive into Stoicism,
Okay.
I keep coming back to that image of the rock in the storm. It's such a powerful metaphor for the inner peace and resilience we can cultivate through these practices.
It is, isn't it? And it reminds us that true strength doesn't come from trying to control external events or force the world to bend to our will. It comes from developing an unshakable inner foundation, a core of resilience that allows us to weather the storms of life with grace and fortitude.
It's about becoming so grounded in ourselves,
Yep.
in our values and principles, that nothing can truly knock us off balance.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate freedom, isn't it? The freedom to be ourselves fully and authentically, no matter what life throws our way.
That's beautifully said, and what a perfect note to end on. This conversation has been so inspiring. It feels like we've uncovered a whole new way of being in the world, a path to navigate the inevitable chaos with more wisdom, resilience, and inner peace.
I couldn't agree more. It's been such a pleasure exploring these timeless ideas with you. And hopefully our listeners are feeling inspired to embark on their own Stoic journeys.
Remember, the journey to self-sufficiency starts with a single step. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just pick one practice, whether it's Stoic meditation, reframing negative visualization, or simply reflecting on those wise words from Marcus Aurelius.
Yes. Remember that fountain of good within you. It's always there waiting to be tapped into.
This has been such a powerful conversation. I'm feeling energized to keep exploring these Stoic principles and applying them to my own life, and I hope you are too.
Me too. It's a lifelong journey of learning and growth, and I'm excited to keep exploring it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. We'd love to hear your thoughts and insights on this episode. Share your experiences with Stoicism in the comments below.
We're all in this together, navigating the complexities of life. Let's support each other on the path to greater wisdom, resilience, and self-sufficiency.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Stoic Dialogue, Ancient Philosophy for the Modern Mind. See you next time.